make
They
make other exits,
Uh-huh.
so that's why
There's no one. Okay.
Yeah.
How are you? How's
Let's go.
everyone?
What page are we on?
So we are going to learn Simin Kuf Nun Tes. Page Shin Sadik Tes. Shin Sadik Tes. If the other wants, we could learn Shavuot. I don't mind, but it's for the Seimer. I think we learned it a lot of years. I thought maybe we want to learn something else.
Sadik Tet.
Yeah.
Netillas Yedayim.
Yeah. So before we learn about Tilas Daim, a little Suda, there's different Netillas that we do,
Bedroom.
Right. But ones wake up, this time of Suda is different. We're learning about Netilas Yedayim for Suda. So the Gemara um, the Gemara in Shabbos, the Gemara says that Shammai, that base Hillel and Beis Shammai, they one time got together, and there was more of Beis Shammai than Beis Hillel. The Mishnah says that Rabbu Beis Shammai al Beis Hillel, and Allah in that time they went to visit in the attic a certain person. They went to visit in this attic there, and there was Talmud Beis Shammai Beis Hillel. They had a big discussion in halacha, and 18 things that day they were geyser gzeiris, 18 gzeiris, and it went with Beis Shammai. And one of the Gemara, the Mishnah itself just says Yud Ches Dvarim. It doesn't say what they are. The Gemara says what they are, and the Gemara says that one of them was Yedayim, Netillas Yedayim. Now, the Gemara asks them this later on. The Gemara discusses this, and the Gemara says that we have a brisa which says that Shammai and Hillel were the ones that did it. Because there's Shammai Beis Hillel, the Shammai and Hillel, and then there are their Talmidim. Beis Hillel and Beis Shammai were the Talmidim of Shammai and Hillel. They had a yeshiva that followed in that thought process. And that went many years. Went on for a very long period of time that there was Beis Shammai and Beis Hillel. So the Gemara says from a price, it seems it wasn't Beis Shammai and Beis Hillel. This was Shammai and Hillel themselves that made the Gzeir on Yedayim. So the Gemara explains like this. Shammai and Hillel originally themselves wanted to make this Gzeira, but it was not niskabel by the tzibur. You know that in order for Gzeira to be niskabel, it has to be roiv hatzibur yicholim lamiba. So, but later on, period, Beis Shammai and Beis Hillel again discussed this and came to a maskana that we should make the Gzeira on Yedayim, Netillas Yedayim, and that wasn't niskabel. So the Gemara asks, okay, you answered to me this contradiction. Was it Hillel and Shammai that made this Gezerah? Was it Beis Shammai Hillel? Talmidim. However, we still have another problem. We have a brayz which says that Shlomo HaMelech was the one who made Eruvin and Yedayim. Eruvin meaning Eruv Chatzeris, not Mechitzas. Mechitzas, you have to have Mechitzas around an area, but he instituted taking an Eruv Chatzeris when you have an apartment building or a courtyard, yeshira, a driveway, a courtyard, other apartments or houses, then you have to make an Eruv Chatzeris with matzah to connect the yards together. So that's Shlomo HaMelech with Masakin, and also the Netillas Yedayim, the Suda. So was it Shammai, Hillel, Beis Hillel, Beis Shammai, or was it Hillel? Shlomo HaMelech. And the Bryce actually says that Abasko came up in Shemayim and said the psukim in Mishle. I think the psukim are that im chakam libecha, if your heart is wise, yismach libi gam ani, that Hashem was happy also with these takonas. Two psukim the Gemara brings. So seemingly Shlomo HaMelech is the originator of this takon. So the Gemara says Shlomo HaMelech instituted Netillas Yedayim for kodshim, before you eat karbanis. Came along Hillel and Shammai, and they were geyser
for the cloud.
before truma, before eating truma. Not just kachim, but eating truma that was given to the kohen. Only a kohen is allowed to eat truma, right? So, however, at a later point, they were geyser not only before you eat truma, but even before you eat chulin. Chulin meaning regular bread, regular food. And not only for kohanim, but even Levim and Yisraelim. Now, what was this Gezeda about? Why was there a Gezeda? So, their Gemara in Chulin says that this had to do with two reasons. One is Srach Tuma, Srach Truma. One was that you shouldn't come to eat Truma with hands which are Tamei. We're going to see in the Alter Rebbe Shulchan Aruch soon that there is, when it comes to Tuma, we have to know like there's different levels of Tuma. Ava Tuma, Rishon, Sheni, Shlishi, Revi. There's nothing more than Revi when it comes to Tuma. In a chain, you cannot make a Chamishi.
The Tumah Tmid, no?
Any Tuma you touch, a mess or a sheretz, different things that make a person Tamei. So that is called an Avha Tuma, the original source, the Avha Tuma. The one that touches that is a Rishon. The one who touches the Rishon is a Sheni. And the one that comes in contact with the Sheni is called the Shlishi, and the contact with the Shlishi comes the Revi. However, for Chulin, it only goes, a Rishon can make a Sheni. And that's it. Chulin means something which is not Kodesh. Truma goes the next step. A Sheni can make a Shlishi. But the Shlishi cannot make a Revi. When it comes to Karbanis, Kodesh, Karbanis, it go another step. A Shlishi can make a Revi. It can be, so it's Chulin can make Sheni, Truma can make a Shlishi, and meaning something which is Tamei, a Sheni, Truma, touches Truma, and make the Truma Tamei. However, if it's Tamei only a Shlishi, it cannot make Truma Tamei. But a Kodesh, even a Shlishi, the Tuma, can make Kodesh, Karbanis can make it. So, the Chazal were concerned that when the Kohanim were eating Truma, my hands might have touched something which was Tamei. And now they're going to be eating the Truma, and they're going to make the Truma a Tamei. So therefore they said, what if you don't know that your hands are 100% clean, you have to wash your hands before Netillas Yedayim, before you eat the Truma. So they said that your hands, Chazal said that your hands have the status of a Sheni L'Tumah. All hands, we're giving them the status, you have to consider them as if they're Sheni L'Tumah. Automatically, unless they wash. And therefore, if you're going to touch the Truma, Sheni has the power to make Shlishi. If it was a Shlishi, it wouldn't have the power. Make them a Sheni, and therefore, when they're going to eat, they have to wash their hands because they're all Sheni L'Tumah. Whether they know they became Tamei, they don't know they become Tamei, Chazal put on the status of Tumah, Sheni L'Tumah, Shniyas L'Tumah, for the eat Truma they have to wash. But they were marchik, the Gzeira, that even when they eat Chulin, which is not Truma, and Chulin is no problem if it becomes Tamei. And even then, they have to wash their hands. And not only Kohanim, even Levim and Yisraelim have to wash their hands. But according to this, the original idea, the Gemara itself says that it's because of Truma, but doesn't explain it's because of Tuma. This Rishonim explained that when we say the Gzeira was because of Truma, the reason was not to metama the Truma. However, it's important to point out that Rashi does not learn that way. And Rashi says that, I think he says that his Rebbe's learned that way, but he himself finds it difficult to learn that way, and he understands it's because of Nikius. And Nikius of their meaning like this, that when the Gemara said it was for Srach Truma, meaning Gzeir for Truma, he understands it not because of Tuma, but because your hands are always moving around. Askani is they're moving around, touching things. You might touch something dirty, part of your body that's dirty, sweaty, and then you're going to touch the truma and eat the truma. And that's a gnai to eat something like truma like that. It's not tuma. It's not tuma and tara. It's a gnai that you should eat your hands with not clean hands, eat truma, which is a holy thing. So therefore, that's how he understands. The Gemara says, Srach truma. That is a gzeira for truma Netillas Yedayim. He understands it has to do with the fact that your hands will touch something tummy.
Where Nida standing?
I want to give you an example where there could be a difference in this.
No, I'm guessing where Nida standing. Sheni, Shlishi, or nothing.
Anida's a problem. She's a tummy.
Right. If somebody touch her, he's a tummy. Somebody touch
Rishon, Sheni, yeah.
Deftil Revi.
No, it has nothing to do. The avatuma is avatuma. It's just when it comes to truma, we're concerned.
Second or third.
Yeah, when it comes to paidish, even to make fourth. If someone is a shlishi, or from a sheni, let's say from a nidar zaber, it doesn't apply today. So the Levush says all these things don't apply today. If tuma, according to Rashi, actually, the reason, but we don't need truma today. Kohanim don't need truma today. So whatever reason you give for it, the whole thing shouldn't apply today. But Levush says we don't give challah to the kohen. We don't give the kohen because all the kohanim are tmeim themselves. They're all tamei, and they can't eat the truma and the challah, and that's why we burn it, and we don't give it. And it says that we still keep it because we'll be prepared for Mashiach coming soon. We should all be ready and be in the status of washing and keep getting ready to eat it.
That's for which truma? It's for washing hands for.
The whole idea of washing hands for truma, whatever reason we go with in the Rishonim, whether the reason that's always that most Rishonim and it's brought in halacha, mainly the main reason because of that you might have touched something tamei, so you make truma tamei, or we learn like Rashi learns that it's because your hand not something tamei, spiritual impurity, something dirty and disgusting, and then eating the truma. That's but the Kohanim are not eating truma today.
We do apply truma as far as like to go to for women to go to the mikvah.
First of all, I'm not discussing truma is not applicable today. I was just saying was that
eating kaidish.
There's no truma around. Why is there no truma around? Because they're all tummy. So once there's no truma around, there's no need to wash hands. What are we washing hands for? The kohanim
work in practical touch something.
Everybody
you had to. If someone touched you, you had to know.
Asking your question about it was very different, and the Rabbanim then and Am Yisrael had to know a lot more halachos than we know today. So we are Baki in our basic Chaim Yerdea. There would have to be a whole other set of Shulchan Aruch, which today we only have in the Rambam, not in the Shulchan Aruch. The Mechaber didn't include all the halachas that were not shaykh bizmanenu. He deleted them, so it was a much smaller work. But
if someone didn't know that they were shaykhs,
and they were living a whole
Italian, so they didn't keep track, and maybe that's why the kind of had to wash their hands anyways. That could be against what the Rashi said.
Very careful.
They lived a whole different life then. What your question began women.
So it was like
Nashtim, for example.
People wouldn't shake hands. People wouldn't touch hands.
Yeah.
You didn't know you were.
They didn't shake hands.
They did the elbow.
No, that doesn't help.
Oh, you.
Maybe.
Go ahead.
They did the Japanese way, you know. So, regarding like a nida, there's two aspects to it. There's an aspect of tuma, and there's an aspect of isser. There's an isser for someone to be with a nida. That's an isser. And then there's also the fact that the nida gives off a certain tuma. So the tuma today is not an issue that we're concerned with because anyone's tummy anyways. So what she touches, they don't have to be careful what they touch or what they do for anyone who's tummy because everyone is tummy. And
some Hasidic rabbis don't eat food.
It's more like ruchniistic, some people are medactic in the matzahs that they don't want women baking matzahs because maybe they need a.
The government.
One of the reasons we don't get safe for a moment section.
right? They were neither touching the Torah.
She can't go to Beis Hachayim.
Not api ikar halacha, just they're noyig not to touch
She can go to Beis
Sefer
Hachayim.
Torah. They're noyig not to go to the Beis Hachayim, but that, by the way, there's a discussion if that's only when they're actually having the period, or also when they're in the clean days, the Shiva Nekiyim. Some say it's not the whole time. It's only actually when when they're having dam, not when they're.
And is that because of
The more ruchniistic
about the energy that goes into them if they look in a man's eyes, and then that whole thing?
It's more ruchniistic of things, but it's not halachically speaking. It's not a.
You can't be Matana Torah. It's kosher Torah. You can't be a Matana Torah.
Not up here halacha. Pure halacha. There's minhagim. Minhagim. There is Shulchan Aruch does bring certain minhagim. The minhagim of women not touching a sefer Torah when they need it does bring it. There were also women that didn't go to shul when they were nidus. There were women that didn't go to shul. It says in Shulchan Aruch that they could, but if it really bothers them, like it's important for them to go, they can go. Or Shani Yom Kippur, they can go, and things like that.
So even in places where they're medactic, the women should not touch the Torah. If a woman touched the Torah, they're not going to say you can't use it anymore.
No,
They still use it. Right?
No.
It's just that it's the gabra, not the chepsa.
some of them don't look. Some of them don't look at the Torah by Izay Sabracha. They don't look at the Torah when they're nida. They won't look at the Torah when they're.
They have a shul in New
Maybe
Jersey.
not dafka when they're nida. Maybe again only dafka when they're in the first days of the vessels.
They have a shul in New Jersey. When they take the Torah, they go around, and the women's section is here. They come next to the women's section, and they put the woman.
A lot of shuls do this. You see this in a lot of modern shuls, or maybe in some Chabad houses. Be honest, it's not traditional to do it.
You're touching the cup of the belt.
But it's not traditional. You're not. There's another problem with this. I want to tell you is another issue. Torah, Sefer Torah is not supposed to move from place to place without any a real tzorich. The Torah is supposed to be brought directly from the Aron Kodesh, directly to the Bima. When we bring it to a place where another house, another place, there has to be a reason why we're bringing it there, a good enough reason to transport a Sefer Torah. This is discussed both in Nigla and in Nister. And if you read the Zohar, actually, in the Minor Lashon, has a shtickle Zohar about it also. Yeah, some spooky stuff over there. So, but you also have this in Nigla halachis. You have to have the mashal, the halachis. You have to have a tar to the tibus, a double reason to bring a Sefer Torah somewhere. For example, let's say someone's a chaylan at home, and there are adam chashiv. So there had to be a double hitter. A chayla and a adam chashiv.
Have a shiva.
In Kawana, we want to bring that.
So aval, it's a problem, but what they're relying on is the Aron Kodesh, which one of the things that Misaskim did, which was a good thing, that they bring Aron Kodesh there. The Aron Kodesh, the Maila is that when you have a Makan Kavua for it, it's different. It's not Aray. So you have a mechubadik place to bring the Torah. The Torah is just sitting around the table. It's not respectful. But you're bringing it into an Aron Kodesh, so that has a heter. And what they're benoisive to that, there's a minig which doesn't have an early makar. I think maybe the Aruch HaShulchan, the first one that brings it. When Moshe discusses it, benoisive to this, they try to make 3 kriyas. You do three lanings in the house. Shabbos, what exactly that meaning? Maybe it gives a certain kaviyas to it, or is enough of a reason to bring it there. But moving around the Sefer is not so pasha. So the whole idea of taking the Sefer Torah out of its path, where it's supposed to go, and to bring it somewhere else, whether it's for other men, whether it's for other ladies, to start dancing on the whole Shabbat Torah is not really correct. Simchas Torah is known that we're mekel, but that's Simchas Torah because we're more lenient Simchas Torah. But the whole year, we don't bring the Torah, and I know that a lot of shuls do it, including a lot of Chabad halls do it to be more inclusive, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's the right thing. I know that in Los Angeles, they had a lot of years ago, they brought down some Rabbanim to come around and to all the Shluchim, and Rabbi Shustim was always it was one of his points was this is an issue of bringing the Sefer Torah around. It's for this reason. Simchas Torah, the Rebbe himself would send his Sefer Torah out in between the first hakafa and the last hakafa. When the Rebbe took hakafas, the first, the second, 7, he would send the Sefer Torah out to the women to kiss.
Yeah.
He will.
Yes.
Was
On
it
Simchas
Simchas
Torah. Simchas Torah, we don't.
But he
If a
didn't
woman
have
was
a
any
kid?
that she didn't touch, that was her thing in her mind. No one knows what's going on with her, what she's doing. But Sefer Torah was brought out. That's something unique. Simchas Torah were much more makel with things on Simchas
Are
Torah.
you saying that
The whole year long, they come and take the Torah and to go to the other side of shul because someone wants to,
are you saying that women should have used their discretion if they were
that's
there
their
at
own
the time?
discussion. No one know. No one's the
If
policeman
they
to
should
know.
have, did they say? Nobody said. They didn't say everyone.
No,
Just
they
people.
didn't
Okay.
say.
They have to teach the woman if you're in need, don't touch the Torah.
It's a minig. It's not. Don't have to make a whole.
Usually had a term my dining room table. We have these oriental partitions, and my wife is reclined there. So she actually has to stay later. She wanted to say it's feeling next to the toilet. Not necessarily touch it, just she want because she's a very religious lady and she never gets the opportunity to be so close to a toilet.
Right. Okay.
Hashem B'nai
Okay.
Israel.
So Rabbi Isai, so we have over here. We're discussing over here Netillas Yedayim L'Seuda, and what was the source for it? The Gemara clearly says it was for Srach Truma. Then the Gemara says Va'oid, it's for another reason. The Gemara asks, what's the other reason? It's a mitzvah. So what mitzvah is it? The Gemara says mitzvah l'shmaya divrei chachamim. Mitzvah to listen to the words of chachamim. So Taisa
Circular logic.
says, what does this mean? Exactly. Mitzvah shmaya divrei chachamim. That's the first idea, that we listen to chachamim. So Taisa explains that this meant is that besides for the truma aspect, there was pashat hygienic aspect of Nekias Yedayim, pashat an idea of Nekias Yedayim. Maybe similar to like what Rashi was saying, like eating with washing your hands should be clean when you're touching. So there was an additional idea mentioned it. There's a Gemara in Brachas brings the Bryce says that the pasuk is Kadishtem, you should make yourselves holy. The Gemara comments, Eilu mayim nishoinim. These are the first waters that you pour in the beginning. The mayim achroinim or fasakana. The first waters are to make yourself holy before you eat. We wash our hands. That's the.
We actually find by Avraham Avinu when the guests came. What do you tell them?
Linu v'rachzu.
Rachzu, and then
Rachzu, yeah.
my house is clean. You can't come to my house and go dirty from the desert. Clean yourself.
Okay, Simin Kuf Nun Ches. Dini Netillas Yedayim L'Seuda Bayi Tesivim. Kol ha'eichel pas. Shemvarchem olav ha'maitzi. Tzarich litel yadav tchila. Afa pi she'einen meluchlachis, they're not dirty, the hands. La'eni yidei lahem tuma. You don't know that you touched anything, tummy. Fi shestam yadayim shesiach mehem daitei mishmirason hishniis l'tuma poises atruma medivrei seifrim. Because Chazal were mesakim medivrei seifrim that stam yadayim that you did not, you had hesach hadas, you weren't watching the whole time, have the status of shniis l'tuma, that they're second degree tuma, which means that they can make truma into a shlishi. Or places that truma to be safe. Actually, b'mayim kilchason. You have to wash your hands with water properly. We're going to discuss a little later why is it only by pas. Truma wasn't just pas. Why only by pas are you washing? Maybe before I drink a cup of wine, I should wash my hands or something else. Mezainis, we're going to discuss all this soon. V'tiknu af b'achilas chulin. Chazal or Masakin is not only before we eat truma, before eating chulin. Mishum srach truma sheyagilu litel yedayim b'chol achila v'leyishkechu litel truma. You shouldn't forget that when you're eating truma, wash your hands. You wash your hands also when you for chulin. They did not want to differentiate between Kehanim and Yisraelim, and everyone is chayav to wash their hands. Now, Weiter. V'gam achsha she'ein hakoyanim oichlin truma mipnei hatuma. Because koyanim are tamei, they don't eat truma anymore. Le'batla takanazu. Kedei shiur gilin ben Yisrael shi'ibana beis hamikdash v'heda v'yamenu lechol v'tara. Sometimes we find that Exer, the reason was a spatel, the batel taima, batel Gzeira, and sometimes we find that no. And sometimes we find it's a machloikis, whether you mevatel the Gzeira or not. I'll give you an example where there's a machloikis about it. I'll give you an example where it's batel. For example, mayim megulim, drinking mayim megulim that's left out. There was a Gzeira that you shouldn't drink water that was left out in the open without not covered because maybe it's a poisonous snake. So that we're not careful about that. Although, by the way, it says the Shulchan Aruch brings that the Vilna Gaon and the Shalah HaKadosh, they were makbid even bismanenu, but here it's they explain the Achrayim explain it's clear in the halacha that in places where poisonous snakes are not found, you don't have to be cautious for this. So we don't live in those areas where there's poisonous snakes around. So why do we have to be cautious? So some places we're not continuing, some places we continue, even though it doesn't that the reason is not around anymore, like in this case. And sometimes the machlekes. I'll give you an example: making kiddush Friday nights. It's machlekes and halacha whether we should still be doing this. It was originally instituted, Chazal in the last parak of Psachim, Arbi Psachim, to make kiddusha the Beit Kinishta. Kiddush Friday night shuls because guests were traveling. It wasn't like today. You took your kedem bottle with you, your kessel bottle. You didn't have wine in the stores. People made their own wine. Everyone made wine in their house. Everyone had their own food, their own wine. So a traveler didn't have wine with him. He came to town Friday. Where was he going to have food? The guests would stay in the shul. They had guest rooms around the shul, and so they made a takana that the chazan, the shiach tzibur, should make kiddush to invite them. So there's a machlokes rishonim. Now that we don't have orchim around, should we still be doing this anymore or not? And some say yes, takana is bottle. Some say no, the takana is not, but takana remains. Friday and the shul. So that's why you see that Ashkenaz shuls, they still do it. The young Israels, the Yekka shuls, they still do it. The Veen, I think they do it. Those shuls do it, but most shuls don't continue the meaning of Friday.
I have a question. You said
Rabbi Kanas probably does it, no? Doesn't.
I don't think so. I never done it. Huh? I don't know why.
Rabbi,
They daven Nusach Ashkenaz, right?
I have to ask him. We say the Kohanim still wash the hands to let us train them for Bet HaMikdash. But now Kohanim doesn't wash their own hands. Somebody has to wash it for them.
That's for Nesiyas Kapayim. I'm saying for eating, we're all even we're washing still. So sometimes it's not clear that the takana could be bottle or not, and you know that you need a Sanhedrin to mevatel the takana. Sometimes the tam is intrinsically connected. That it's very clear that the takana is bottle. Sometimes we say that the takana is not bottle.
Some people wash their hand before they start davening. Come to shul, take a kvod and wash their hand before davening. They can't bottle.
Yeah, so
The Rebbe, I think, was makbid in that.
And then there's some place I've been to some shuls where they have what's the old soap dispenser, and there's like maybe Shomer Shabbos, and there's this water in there, and the dispenser wherever you touch the thing, you push it up. It's like a globe. So you're just getting a little water on your hands. Your hands are getting all the germs from everyone else that touched it. But just to get some water,
so that in like a
random drop of water.
So some are taka makel that way. A lot of chassidim were makel that just a little water, just a drop of water. Yeah.
They go to the sink and open.
Even by Chabad, a lot of chassidim were makel that way. But the Rebbe himself personally had with the kvards and everything. Yeah.
That's
3 times he did it. Yeah.
The Rebbe, when he used to come from the way, they go all the way to the 70, the small what is it called? Pozor.
Entrance.
Hall. And then there's a sink on the right side and wash your hands and go down.
Okay, going out from a cemetery is a different thing. It's one of the things that we say that like we cut our nails and that go out of cemetery, you wash your hands. Optimally, you should do it before you enter into a building, but it isn't always shy. Some cemeteries Like in the main building, they'll have like an outside
outside a sink.
faucet with like a quart,
When you're not
Similar
allowed
than
to
that,
put it straight, you have to put it the opposite.
yeah, leave it
Okay.
turned over, yeah.
Not to be
But
mevatel.
Lapayel, that's what it used to be by the oil. They had it, but now they're mevatel it by the oil, so you only have sinks inside. The molder was outside. You remember they used to,
completely outside.
yeah, they used to have on the street. Remember alongside the gate they had.
Only Bagi Matamos they put it.
From the drive-in entrance, you still have a sink there.
Bagi Matamos they
Like
put it
some kind
outside.
of half a sink.
Maybe that one over there, yeah. Maybe still have, yeah.
Now, it's a tent, and it's still considered inside, outside.
It's a pretty permanent tent. It's been there for a long time already. Like,
One time,
It's part of
Gimel
Besachai.
Tammuz, I was waiting maybe 2 hours
The guy.
by the tent. You go in, but they give you TV to watch the Arabic the time. But you said, hey, more and more and more till you get there. Then let you stay 5 minutes. Then out, Shomer.
Not even
Woman,
5
the
minutes.
man.
Give it down, not even 5 minutes. In and out, in and out. You just put the
But
opinion and
you
go.
go in for 2 minutes, 3 minutes.
Not even 2 minutes. You can't say. 1
I
minute.
can
Yeah.
say Perek Tehillim.
No, you can't. No, not
V'lei tiknu el b'pas. Achamim are only masakin washing your hands for pas. Sheroiv hatrumes hein b'pas. Most trumes were bread. Shemina Torah ein truma neheges ela bedagan tiroish v'yitzer. Shenema reishis degancha tiroishcha v'yitzerecha. V'hadagan shehu hei mine trua, which is all the 5 grains. Derech achilasi lasman pas. The normal derech, what you do with grains are you make bread with it. Tiroish yitzar is yayin. Tiroish is wine. Yitzar is shemen. Derech shiyasan him bekli. The way how you drink and hold on to them is with a keli, a liquid. Main adam also you don't usually touch it with your fingers. Definitely by chulin you don't have to wash your hands. So drink wine and oil you're not going to have to. Bread you hold with your hands. You make something tummy you're holding with your hands. So therefore when you eat bread you should wash your hands. Furthermore, what type of breads? When it comes to pas, it's only the pas which you usually make a suda with. Al pas of a kiss and achmanis dakis, when you have sweet breads, or you have very thin like crackers and things like that. You don't need to wash your hands before you eat mezainis, because that's not the derech to have a suda with them. So most trumas are going to be used for suda purposes. These are snacking things that you eat on the side. That's not the ikr. So Chazal were never masakin. Just like if you cook grains without making them into a bread, grinding them, making the breads. And the people cook grains themselves. That truma is minatayra. Grains are minatayra even before they're made into pas. It's truma minatayra. It's the gamcha. Alpha became the not machayev and tilos yedayim. Al she'eni regila matsuya kol kach b'bayis ficha begaza b'shvila b'chulin. True, yes, when it comes to truma itself, your hands are tummy, you have to wash your hands for it. But Chazal, we're not goyzer that even when we're eating chulin, because you're not eating truma, eating chulin, you should have to wash your hands for grains that are not made into pas, you don't have to. Similarly, the same idea, pas hababekisnin, and lachmani is dakis, shamazainis, you don't wash, but you're not making a maitzion, you don't need to wash your hands for. Mikol mokim ever you should know like this. In kavos udase apasul bekisnim lachmanis dakis. Shein shemeelas kvi zuling and amaitzi. Kach meelas in Yedayim. What happens if you were indeed keveya suda on mezainis? You had a meal of mezainis. Yes, it's not regular, but that's what you had to eat. You sat down to the meal. That's what you ate. So you ate mezainis. You were keveya suda on it, just like it's considered a kviyas. In order to make that, you have to make hamaitzi on it. It's also considered a kviyas that you should have to wash for it. So once we say hamaitzi on something, you have to wash for it. That's the klal. Shelachlik b'nei lepas gemura kivin shekavei alein kamoy pas gemura. Not only should you wash, you should even make the bracha yivarach gam kein birchas al Netillas Yedayim. If you're kavei suda on the mezainis.
2 slices pizza. How much?
Even one slice.
Huh? One slice, I'm not sure.
Yeah, two slices.
Everybody.
2 slices. Yeah. So you have a problem.
Unless you nobody wash.
Yeah.
Sit in the pizza store for one
Sandwich, Mazonis bread, but it's your lunch sandwich.
Pay the shiur with
And no Mazonis bread.
Goes into so mezainis bread goes into discussion like this. There are those that don't hold the mezainis bread at all. So they're going to say you got to make hamaitzi. So obviously, according to them, you have to wash. But those that are saying that's mezainis, now it depends how much you
how
eat.
much you're gonna eat.
If you're going to be satisfied, this is going to make things difficult for the oilam. People don't realize this, but the oilam is not careful with these. But if you're going to be saveya, you're satisfied with savata, so then you have to wash on a regular piece of bread 4.
I thought it's a share of 6 bayim, no? Of 6 days.
I think it's much less if you're saveya,
When we washed them,
maybe like saveya and maybe two bayim.
we washed on matzah share before Pesach.
Yeah, but Rav also says eat 2 matzahs.
Right, because you need to.
It's 2, yes.
6 bayim.
Oh, but there you're not washing on a bread before. But
washing on the
what
matzah
You're
share.
not allowed to what?
saying is, what happens if you're saveya but you don't eat the shear?
No.
The shears only be with bread, but with the rest of the sandwich items. Sorry, the shear would not be with the bread alone.
Here.
Chicken sandwich.
קניתי 3 מצות.
Yeah.
שתי מצות, כן.
Says over here, but
That's
For loopholes, not to have to sit.
שבת לפני פסח, נכון?
You're not allowed to do matzah. Yeah.
Get the bench.
That's true. But if you don't know. So you have to deal with dying, traveling, whatever.
I mean, in the siddur, I'm just saying, in the siddur, the Alter Rebbe is more machmer. He says, if you are satiated with this, no matter what you eat, you're satisfied with it, with the mezainis, then you should to get yourself out of the suffix, you should wash on a piece of proper bread before. It seems that in the Shulchan Aruch, he's a little more maker with that. So I don't know what the Mishabruda says. Maybe there's more makim to makel.
One more.
Listen.
One, two.
This.
We should get that turned.
Well, can you get it? If you have less than, because let's say you have a sandwich, and let's say less than a kazayas of bread. Well, that's a problem for washing for anything you have there more than kazayas of bread, ideally.
Okay, so getting into the whole discussion over here is going to take a little bit longer. So let's stick. Yeah, I don't. We could take a look at it later, but right now let's stick like this. If you're going to follow the halachos of being kavei sud on it, if you have to make hamaitzi, you have to wash your hands, even if it's mezainis. Siv beis, important halacha. Afilu, we have a minyan, or we have.
Sigwan is coming.
Okay. Filu pas gemura, im eine oichel pachas b'kabeya b'leik pasa. If one is eating less than an egg we mean with the shell. I'm sorry, an egg without a shell. So you're eating less than the size of an egg. Yesh listapik in tzarich dilzbein. The suffix, you need to wash your hands. You want to wash and eat a kazayis. You're not really hungry. You want to eat just a kazayis because you'll have a malka, a suda. So eating kazayis. It's a suffix when you need to wash your hands for it. Shapachas mikabeya ein nikra oichel in tumas oichlin. If you have less than the size of an egg of food which is tamei, it cannot make another food tamei. In order to make something else tamei, the food has to have the oichel has to be the size of an egg. If it's less, it can't make something else tamei. So it's not considered an achila. Shishpeiza ein matama mashkim oichel achein shenagabay shnem mikola oichel sheyaachol. Chacham leitzichem tizadayim bechol mishum srach truma elam achila v'lebenegia. Bachs mikabeya kimen shenikro oichel v'yin tuma ein achilase chashuv achila in tizadayim. This is the suffix. The other side of the suffix is that maybe Chazal did not go that way. Chazal said anytime you're making hamaitzi on it, even for a kazayis, you make hamaitzi. Anytime you're going to have to bench and make hamaitzi, you have to bench on it's the kazayis. So even if it's only a kazayis, the other mahalach no. The whole idea of is making metama truma. Oichel, which is not a kabeya, can't be metama. So therefore, can't become tummy. Therefore, why should I make Netillas Yedayim something less than a kabeya? It's because of this machlokes. The fichach, therefore, yitel yadav v'lo yivarech. You should wash but not make a bracha. Hafilu oichel kolshu tzarach Netillas Yedayim v'lo suda. Even if you're eating a little bit, less than a kazayis, you need Netillas Yedayim, but without a bracha. Even though you're not going to make brachas hamazon.
Thank you.
By the way, important point to point out, the Mishabruda said that a shalosh shudas, a lot of people, they're not really hungry. They wash a shalosh shudas, take a little bit to eat, have a problem. They should not make a bracha on the Netillas Yedayim. Now, I think a lot of people are not aware of this. They should not make a bracha on the Netillas Yedayim if they're going to be eating less than a kabeya. Okay, less than the size of an egg.
So what you
They're just eating a kazayis, they're chayim and birchas hamazon, but they're not chayiv to make a bracha on the Netillas Yedayim. They wash.
I never saw somebody eating without Netillas Yedayim.
No. The pile we make because it's a suffix, we make Netillas Yedayim,
Right.
but not to say a bracha. Because it's a suffix, not to make a
I
bracha.
never saw somebody washing
But-
hand and not the.
But you do Birkat Hamazon?
That's why we come.
Well,
You do Birkat Hamazon?
I never saw somebody washing hand for.
If you had a
for
kazayis,
and not making
Only
a
for Netillas, for birchas hamazon, the shear is kazayis. If for the shear of Netillas
If
Yedayim,
Kazait, you wash, but you don't do Birkat Hamazon.
right? Less than kazayis.
So we need to force
Wait,
Why
less
you
than a
eat?
kazayis, you have to make a moitzi, but no birchas hamazon.
Okay.
You always have to wash your hands, whatever you eat, but making a bracha on al Netillas Yedayim is only when you're eating 2 ounces, which is 2 kazesim. A beya is 2 kazesim.
And can we mitzaref to Zimun? If you don't eat kabetza, you wash.
Yeah. The
Mitzaref.
benching has nothing to do with Netillas Yedayim. 2 separate dinim. Netillas Yedayim is a suffix if you're making Netillas Yedayim, therefore we don't. Mitzvah Shem is next week.